How does the compensation paid to your executive officers compare to your company's performance? This is a disclosure that you need to include in your proxy statement. In this video, I'm going to cover 3 things to know about the pay versus performance table. This shows what the table looks like. You'll take total compensation as reported in your summary compensation table. You'll take that for your CEO and then the average for your other named executive officers. And then you'll compare that to the compensation actually paid to those individuals during the year. And then you'll compare that to up to 3 different performance measurements for the company. This seems pretty straightforward. What's to know about it? The first thing to know is that when it comes to equity awards, compensation actually paid in most cases is not compensation that was actually paid to the executive. For equity awards, the SEC defines compensation actually paid as the year-over-year change in fair value of the equity award. And this is true for even for awards that have not been paid out during the year. So sure, for full value awards that vest and pay out during the year, the payout value is going to be equal to the fair value of the award on the payout date. But in any other circumstance, stock options, full value awards that weren't paid out during the year, that change in fair value over the year could have actually very little resemblance to the compensation the executive ultimately receives under the award. The second thing to know is do not wait until the last minute to do all those fair value calculations. In order to know the change in fair value over the year, you need to know the fair value of the award at the beginning of the year and at the end of the year. That means the first time you do this table, for all of the equity awards held by your executives, you need 2 fair value calculations per year for the 3 years that are reported in the table. That's a lot of valuations. On an ongoing basis, it will get a little bit easier because you'll already have the prior year numbers and you'll already have the beginning of the year value, so you'll only need to calculate the end of the year values. But when you think about all the equity awards that are held by your executives, that still could be a lot of fair value calculations. And if you've got anything complicated, like stock options that require a Black-Scholes calculation, or market conditioned awards that require a Monte Carlo simulation, you could be looking at a lot of work and possibly needing to hire a consultant to help with it. The third thing to know is that dividends paid on equity awards will increase the compensation actually paid reported in the table. This has 2 implications for equity awards. The first is that when you are calculating all those fair values, you have to remember to reduce the fair values for the future dividends that will be paid on the awards. Otherwise, you end up counting the dividends twice in compensation actually paid. And that's not normally how we do a fair value calculation for equity awards. So that means that even the fair value calculations for your service-based and your performance-conditioned awards could be a little bit trickier than you were maybe expecting. And then the second thing, of course, is that when you are calculating compensation actually paid, you got to remember to add in all those dividends that were paid during the year. So those are the 3 things that I wanted to tell you about the pay versus performance table. If you're looking for more information on how to prepare the executive compensation disclosures that go into your proxy statement, we have a whole course on this topic. We'll include a link to the course and to some other resources in the show notes. I hope you enjoyed my video today. If you did, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. That actually really helps us out, and you get notified when we post new videos. Win-win. Thanks for watching.